It is.
Good evening. I have your attention for just a minute. I'm sorry to interrupt the conversation and the food. Good evening. I am Mark Shriver, and I'm honored to be the Master of Ceremonies this evening. Thank you for the one person who cheered for me. That was a gratuitous need for applause. But thank you very much. Actually, no person who clapped for us. That's great. But thank you all so much for coming to see me. 25 years for IVC. Isn't that fantastic? 25 years. I mean, it really is an honor to be here. I was asked by Mary a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, Cokie Roberts was supposed to be here. And I'm happy to be stepping in for Cokie, who was a great friend of mine. And I use that word on purpose because she was so full, not really of happiness, but of joy. I work at Save the Children. I run all of our programs here in the United States, and Cokie was on our board. And for some reason or another, when she joined the board, I've been there a couple of years, and it always felt like she was a long-lost family friend. And she knew my parents a little bit, but she treated me like we had known each other since I was born. When Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans and Save the Children responded in that great city, and I told her I was heading down to Baton Rouge and then to New Orleans, she said, "You got to go see my mother." First thing I did when I got down in Louisiana was to go to see Ambassador Boggs and had a great hour-and-a-half conversation with her where we talked about Save the Children, we talked about Louisiana. She put me in touch with people in that great city. She was family. When I talked to Cokie about whether she would come and hear from Mary about what the IVC does, before I could even get the request out, she said absolutely yes. When we went to Arkansas and expanded our services in that state, I asked Cokie to go out with me and meet with the governor and the attorney general. She said yes. When I started a 501c4 so that Save the Children could get engaged in the political arena, the strongest supporter on the board was Cokie Roberts. And just a couple of weeks ago at the Christ Child Luncheon, my wife Jeannie was the chair of that. And in the middle of August, when we talked about who would be the perfect person to speak at that luncheon, we said Cokie Roberts. Jeannie called up, and Cokie called back immediately and said, absolutely, half of my house is from the op shop on Wisconsin Avenue. First, I'll be there. But here was a woman, so often in Catholic circles, we hear the concept of saying yes. And for the Jesuits, having gone to Georgetown Prep, having gone to Holy Cross, I've heard since I was a young man about the concept of being a man or a woman for and with others. And here, Cokie Roberts was a woman who was for us, who was for others, and who was with others. I don't think I went to a Catholic event in this town in the last 20 years that I didn't see Cokie Roberts at, and so many other events. She was such a huge presence in this community, and I just want to say how deeply she's missed and what an honor it is for me to step in and try to fill her shoes, which could never be filled, because she was a great woman and a great friend of all of ours. So to Cokie Roberts. I'm really, really excited when Mary asked me to come down and be with you all, because I've been at a number of events with the IVC, and this organization is contemplatives in action, right? I mean, we're out, you all are out in communities, helping in cities. You saw the video, 23 cities, right, Mary? 3 new ones this year, relationships with universities all across the country. I mean, wow, there's so much positive energy going on here. I mean, some of us talk about putting our faith into action. This place, this organization is creating the opportunities for people who have great skills to go out and work in nonprofits, to share those skills that they've accumulated over a lifetime. And having run a nonprofit for a number of years, I can tell you there's such a lack of talent out there that when IVC members are out there, they're adding so much to organizations, adding so much to the community, adding so much to the effort to heed what you hear in Matthew about feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, and sheltering the homeless. So I am so proud and so excited that we're celebrating 25 years for the IVC. I mean, when I was talking to Mary about it the other day, I'm like, I can't believe it's 25 years. This idea should have happened 50 years ago. It's such a basic, good idea. But so many great ideas are so basic in concept. But here we are getting to celebrate it. And we have a great program. It's going to be short and tight so we can get back and grab a couple of bites to eat. I just want to leave you with this quote, which I think, it's from my father, and I carry it around on my phone because I love it so much. And it was at the, I think it was the 30th or 25th anniversary of the Peace Corps. And I think it speaks to the very work that the IVC has done with so many partners here this evening celebrating. And I think his words are fantastic. And it says, "Be servants of peace. Work at home as you have worked abroad humbly, persistently, intelligently. Weep with those who are sorrowful. Care for those who are sick. Serve your wives, serve your husbands, serve your families, serve your neighbors, serve your cities, serve the poor. Join others who serve. Serve, serve, serve." That is the challenge, for in the end, it will be the servants who save us all. Love that. Serve, serve, serve. That is the challenge, for in the end, it will be the servants who save us all. So when I said at the beginning that I was really excited and joy-filled to be here, I can feel Cokie Roberts' presence here. I love the fact that we're in a room of people who don't heed what they see on television, don't fall prey to the negativity, to the separation, but who are out there serving, serving, serving. For in the end, as my father said a number of years ago, it's going to be the servants who save us all, and that's all of you here this evening. Mary McGinnity has been the head of IVC for 10 years. She was on the board 5 years earlier, so it makes you 15 years in the organization. I don't know what they did for the first 10. But Mary's great. She went to Holy Cross, which is also our bonding experience. So come on up here, Mary, and say a few words. Mary McGinnity.
Thank you, Mark. And thank you for being a part of IVC. As mission, you lend your support, your spirit, and your legacy. The family that you come from is synonymous with compassion and service. So thank you so much. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. We are thrilled to have you with us. Happy anniversary, IVC. Just look at yourselves. I hope you see the beauty of God's love flourishing through you. God has created something so very powerful, so very healing into this world through you. So tonight, we are together to celebrate. We are together to remember. We're together to celebrate the future. We're going to celebrate the gift of faith, the gift of vision, and the gift of community, and how through the combination of those forces, the healing powers of God's love and grace transforms lives.
Mary, can you move the mic closer to you? I can't hear you. Thank you.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, you missed all the great stuff I said in the beginning. Well, the slides go on. I got to keep talking. Before I begin, I want to thank our 25th Anniversary Ignite Committee, this group of people that we've been working with for a while, Kathleen and Mike Curtin, Pam and Dennis Lucy, Joe Rea, our directors for IVC locally, Mike Goggin and Mike Modis, Mary Podesta, and in a very special way, our little Energizer bunny and organizer, Tricia Lloyd. She's been amazing. So thank you all for this committee to put tonight together. I'd also like to thank our two sponsors for this party, who are treating you to wine and food for tonight, the B&S Foundation, I'll talk a little bit about them later, and the Georgetown University Jesuit community. Thank you very much for tonight. I'd also like to honor and thank the artists who made tonight so beautiful. Joanne and Scott Sullivan have prepared a lot of the visuals, a lot of the plaques, things that we have tonight, and they're great, fantastic artists and dear friends of mine and of IVC for these past 10 years. So thank you. And Pam Lucy, who did all the flower arrangements, she just spread so much beauty everywhere she goes. And Jeannie Rea, who made these stained glass containers painters for the candles, Jeannie, a hand-stained glass artist, and donated those for us. And of course, thanks to our caterers for serving us so beautifully tonight. Thank you. When St. Ignatian envisioned the word society in the term Society of Jesus and how that might look one day, I doubt that he had this room in his mind, in his earthly mind, but probably in his heavenly mind he did, because he saw that the mission was going to be strengthened through community. When he sent those early Jesuits out, they were to be the Society of Jesus. So it is in our community together that we have carried forward a vision for IVC that was started 25 years ago. That vision, when shared with others, begins a powerful movement that now spans the country, as Mark said, with over 600 men and women in the Service Corps, serving in hundreds of partnership agencies across this country. We are literally in over almost 400 agencies. And we're just getting started. Just getting started. Tonight, right here, we're starting to kick off the 25th anniversary year. This is the area of the country in the Maryland province where IVC was born. And so we pause now to look more closely at all these different parts that in communion and in community make up this entity of IVC. So, what are the elements that make this powerful entity IVC? First and foremost, IVC Service Corps members. So I'd like to invite all of the men and women, past and present, or IVC volunteers, Service Corps members, to just please stand up. And in this group, please stay standing, this group up here. This group who are holding the candles, special word about them. These are our longest, oh, they sat down. I guess they're tired. They're tired because these men and women have been in the volunteer corps, in the Service Corps for 15 years and over. Wow. Ginny, you and Kathleen, I'd like you two to stand up here because we want to honor, these are the two first, or among the first spiritual reflectors for IVC, and they've been continuously in service for 25 years to support our volunteers. It is fantastic because the IVC men and women in the Service Corps, they average their service between 7 and 10 years and some many, many more. So this is a powerful, powerful addition to the service agencies that they do. So thank you all. Congratulations on this anniversary. And those of you who haven't joined yet, we got you 2 decades planned just for you. So I would like to take a minute to shine a sparkling light on our IVC regional directors. Every IVC region has a director and some of them associates to build the communities in the city, recruiting volunteers, making sure they have good placements, supporting them in spiritual support program, and they also have to raise money and fundraise. But they're the ones that build the IVC core communities in each of our cities. And these men and women that you see on the screen right now are absolutely fantastic. They are committed to lay ministry in the church. They are devoted to it, and I couldn't be prouder of these men and women. So tonight we have some of our directors here. You guys are probably already standing because that's the kind of people they are. They gave up their chairs. But if you would just wave, we've got Mike Goggin, Mike Modis, Nora Collins, Becky Ehrman, John Green, and Steve Everly is our former director. So thank you guys very much. In about 2 weeks, we'll be all gathering in Baltimore for our annual all-staff gathering where they come to deepen their experience and grow. In that, oh, and Teddy, I'm sorry, I missed you. Teddy out there from Northeast Pennsylvania. Thanks, Teddy, for coming all the way down to Scranton. Okay, and now I'd like to turn us back to Mark, who's going to honor another very important element of our history of IVC.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you. Okay, I think the 3 Jesuits are supposed to stand up. No, I'm not supposed to tell. You want to tell a joke, Father? This is the strangest position anyone has ever been in. Maybe you two should have done it since you've been here from the get-go. I get to say great things about 3 Jesuits, and I said to Mary, are they each going to speak? And she said, no. I said, you're not going to let Jesuits speak and they get an award? Are they going to be mad at me? And she said, they don't have a choice. So I do want to start at the far left. Father Waters is from St. Ignatius Parish up in Baltimore, where Father Costello and Father Conroy lived and spent months creating the IVC, planning it and forming it. The IVC central offices remains headquartered at St. Ignatius Parish. I've never met Father Waters. I lived in Baltimore for a number of years, ran a program for juvenile delinquent kids in Cherry Hill. This guy's a legend, and he is really amazing. Father Waters, thank you for your support. Father Gillespie, I know as well. Sorry I can't let you all talk, but this is really awkward. Father Gillespie over here at Holy Trinity, where Holy Trinity has been so supportive to the IVC, their parishioners, recruiting members for the Corps. Father Gillespie has been a great leader and a great supporter of the work for IVC. So on behalf of the IVC, Father, many thanks to you and to the parish. Thank you very much. And this last one is painful. Father Planning from Gonzaga. No, Father Planning, I also know as well, I work across the street from Gonzaga now and Save the Children. Go to Mass over at Gonzaga a couple times a week in their chapel. He's become a friend, and Gonzaga has provided a home base on campus for the IVC director for the DC and Northern Virginia. And the Gonzaga community, Father, as you know, has been a fantastic support for the IVC. So to all 3 of you, legends, all 3 of you, and the organizations that you represent, many, many thanks to each of you for life.
For everything. Appreciate that. I'd like to ask Stephanie's attorney to stand up for a moment here. Stephanie is actually holding a light on behalf of herself and also all of our transformational benefactors, foundations who have given significant funding in the course of IVC's 25 years. These transformational benefactors have made it possible for IVC not only to exist, but to actually grow. And we want to recognize all of them tonight. And Stephanie herself, she is with the VNS Foundation, who is sponsoring this party tonight, but she's also been, the VNS Foundation has kicked off the Ignite campaign, was the first in, and to get us to our goal of raising $3 million to support IVC's growth. So we want to honor her. I also want to let you know she's our accountant. So she not only gives to the pot, she watches the pot. And so Stephanie, thank you, and thank all of our benefactors over these years. It's made it possible. And so now we've talked about these elements. Now, how about the point in time? IVC stands on the precipice of a grand future of even more growth and service. It is amazing. 3 years ago, as a nonprofit, profits have to work together, we were seeking ways to expand our ability to serve more agencies and provide people the opportunity to do that service through the Service Corps. And we approached an idea. We initiated a pilot project to partner with Jesuit colleges and universities. Sounds like a basic idea, like Mark said. Sometimes you have great ideas, but you gotta give them life. And that pilot project has proven to be very fruitful and is rapidly calibrated. As you heard in the video, we've already got 6 universities in. This means the presidents have signed on for this. And there are more ready to jump in. So we're very excited about that. That means we have to have a good structure to support this potential growth. So I want to let you know, though, we want to honor somebody very special tonight. And I would like to invite Lisa Hudson and Kathy Mayer and her husband Chris to come forward. They are the nieces of Father Charlie Curry. Father Charlie Curry was on our national board and served 6 years on our board, and he helped us to conceive of this idea and to give it its fruition. I'd also would like to invite Congressman Jim McGovern, who worked closely with Father Charlie in the El Salvador project, to come forward too. We are naming this initiative after Charlie. It's going to be called the Curry Alumni Partnership for Service, where we will be working with these universities to market IVC to the alumni and engage more men and women in service. So that we really believe that once more men and women hear about this, they're going to join the Corps. And we really believe that Charlie, who was an advocate for Jesuit education, he's the head of the Association of Jesuit Colleges and Universities, and a past college president himself, a teacher, that he believed in the power of education for the good of the world. He fundamentally believed in that. And we believe that he would very much be so excited at how this pilot project is growing and how it's going to put education into service in the world. We couldn't think of a more appropriate thing to honor him with than to name this project after him. So we'd like to thank the family for letting us name him. We have a little plaque that can go to say that we've officially named it. We don't have buildings. We are in the people business. Thank you all for being with us. And now I'd like to invite Congressman McGovern to come up here, please, and say a couple words.
Well, thank you very much, and let me just say that I'm a huge fan of the Ignatian Volunteer Corps, and congratulations to all of you, and thank you for all the incredible work that you do. I love the mission, and I love the Jesuits. And let me say that I do, even though that every Jesuit college and university that I applied to, I was rejected from. And Mary and Mark, that included Holy Cross, which is in my home city of Worcester. But I'm their congressman now, and I'm really good to them. So I just want you to know that. And it's great to be here with Father Conroy, who's the Jesuit Catholic chaplain of the U.S. House of Representatives. If there's ever an institution that needs to be prayed for, it is the Congress. So we thank him for that. But I speak also for Charlie's family. We can't think of anybody better to honor, because he epitomizes to me everything that's good about humanity. And I knew Charlie for many, many, many years. I got to first meet him in the aftermath of the assassination of 6 Jesuit priests and 2 women down in El Salvador. And I worked for a guy named Congressman Joe Moakley. We were heading up an investigation to look into the murders. And Charlie was in charge of coordinating the response for the Georgetown community. And he came to see me, and he wanted to emphasize how serious a good investigation was. And I said, I'm with you. And he said, have you done any investigations before? I said, no. He says, do you have any police experience? I said, I know a couple of cops, but no, I don't. He says, but you must speak Spanish, right? I said, I don't speak Spanish either. And he looked at me and said, oh, Jesus, I'll pray. But that, as Humphrey Bogart said to Claude Rains in Casablanca, that was the beginning of a beautiful friendship. And I credit Charlie with a lot of wonderful things, but also keeping me in the church. At a period in my life when I wasn't feeling it, he reminded me that faith and religion is more than ritual, it is action. And there was nobody who acted on more things than he did. I remember one time we were in El Salvador, and I brought the U.S. ambassador and the head of USAID, and Charlie went out to a community asking them, what they want, saying, I have the U.S. government here, they'll give you whatever they want, whatever you want. And they said, we want a chapel. And USAID said, we don't do chapels. And Charlie said, I do. And he raised the money, and he built the chapel. And that is who he is. Let me just close with this, and I'm supposed to give a toast here, but I don't talk about Charlie Curry in the past tense because I very much feel him in the present moment. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think of him. And I'm going to El Salvador on November 16th for the 30th anniversary to commemorate the murders of the Jesuit priests. And I had hoped that he would be coming with us, but he will be there with us in spirit. And so in honor of Charlie, I think if he were here, he would ask us all to do more, to care more, and to love more. And Charlie, we love you. So thank you for coming.
You know, one of the keys of any healthy and vital nonprofit, and I say it's the spine of the nonprofit, is the board of directors. IVC, throughout this 25-year history, has been blessed to have some amazing men and women who have served in that function of guiding, grappling, praying, dreaming, envisioning IVC and bringing it to life. I'd like to invite the present board and former board members who are here with us tonight to please stand. I absolutely adore working with every single one of these people. They've been amazing to me and it's very supportive and they inspire me every day. So thank you guys and gals. And you really made IVC what it is today. As we transition to a very special moment tonight, where we're going to honor the vision, and the visionaries for IVC, I would like to invite our immediate past chair, Mark Ruggie, and our immediate current chair, Jim Swope. We had our annual meeting today, and that was the transition. But I'd like to invite you both to please come forward.
Hi, I'm Father Jim Martin. I'm a Jesuit priest, and I'm here at the Church of St. Ignatius Loyola in Rome, where everything started for the Society of Jesus. And I'm here to wish the Ignatian Volunteer Corps a happy 25th anniversary. It's such an amazing organization, one of the greatest ideas in the Society of Jesus in the United States, started by Jim Conroy and the late Charlie Costello, who we remember today. For the last 25 years, IVC has helped people with a great deal of life experience connect with people who are poor and social service agencies, to live and to sort of spend time with one another in community, and also to sort of nourish their lives with prayer. It's an amazing organization that I just think does such great work. Today IVC is active in over 350 social service agencies and 23 cities, I think, with new ones every day. I want to just give a shout out to Mary McGinnity, their dynamic president, to the national board, to the regional directors, and really everyone, all the benefactors who help IVC. You know, it's a great place to be here in Rome to think about our origins and our founding charism to find God in all things. And I just want to say congratulations and encourage all of you to live the magis, the more, the best, the greater for God. So from St. Ignatius Loyola Church, in Rome, happy 25th anniversary, auguri, as we say here. Ciao.
To Father Jim Conroy, in the name of the Maryland province, I want to say congratulations on this honor you are receiving on the 25th anniversary of the Ignatian Volunteer Corps that you helped to found. We celebrate with you seeing the wonderful fruits of this creative venture you started. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Mark, and this is Jim, and we have the great honor of introducing Father Jim Conroy and telling you his story. But before we do, I would like to take a moment to say a word about our CEO and President, Mary McGinnity. If Jim Conroy is the soul of IVC, Mary McGinnity is the heartbeat of IVC. And you've seen that in action. It's a whole community, a whole family that's responsible for IVC's success, but there is no one individual more responsible than Mary, especially over the last 15 years, as you've heard. Just to give you an example, this week she spent the first 2 days of the week in Cincinnati fundraising. She flew back and organized and then executed our national board meeting this morning, went into a phone booth and put on her Superman cape, zoomed over here, and now is running at the 25th anniversary celebration. She's a remarkable lady, and we're lucky to have her. Please join me in acknowledging Mary McGill. She's always told me Gonzaga High School is her favorite high school.
Welcome, everyone, and I'm Jim Swope, the board chair, and I've been asked to say a few words about Jim Conroy since I've known him for a number of years, a long time. And I first met Jim back at St. Joseph's Prep in Philadelphia. And the first meeting, at least for me, it didn't go very well, Jim. I've never told you this story, but I remember it like it happened yesterday. It's still vivid in my mind. And it was we used to play pickup basketball together. And we were playing, maybe the first time that we played, but we were on the opposite teams, and Jim was guarding his player, and he was coming across the court, and I see this Jesuit moving my way, and I was on the other team, and I thought, wow, you know, I could set a pick on this guy. I get a free shot at a Jesuit, and I can't get in trouble. So I moved out, and I gave him pretty good bump, and knocked him off his man. And we kept playing. He gave me a little look, and sure enough, we kept playing, and I saw him, moving again, coming across the court, and I figured, okay, well, I can get another one here. So he's coming over, and I pop out to get him, and this time he saw me. And he put his shoulder down and ran into me and went right through me, sent me flying off my feet, sprawling down on the court. It's something I'll never forget. And of course, I'm lying down there getting my breath back, and who is it that picked me up and gave me a big hug and checked to make sure I was okay, and then he just told me, don't watch those screens, and gave me a little wink. So it gave me a little insight, I think, back on it into one of his real strengths, I think, that has served him well with starting IVC was he has a good competitive streak. He's a good athlete, great runner, ran for a number of years, and but also a very caring person. Very spiritual, prayerful man who has always been deeply committed to Ignatian spirituality, spiritual growth, and service to others, which we see vividly in IVC. No doubt that those characteristics led Jim and Charlie to start IVC. And to share that vision of Ignatian spirituality and service to others. But now, when I see IVC and the remarkable impact it's had, I'm not sure we'd be here today if it wasn't for those characteristics and even more of Jim's strengths. He not only co-founded IVC, but he stayed involved throughout these first 25 years and helped develop the organization, committed to spirituality and serving others as its foundation. And there, as many of you know, there were some very tough times for IVC as it struggled to get its feet under it. But that competitive nature that Jim has always displayed, first, that I experienced firsthand back on that basketball court, being a marathon runner just wouldn't let him quit, and he just kept at it. And maybe thanks to that competitive nature, he persevered, and with the help of Mary and many, many others along the way, he found a way to keep his vision going. And today, as you've heard, IVC is in well over 20 regions across the country. We see Jim's concern for others and his deep sense of spirituality everywhere in IVC. He doesn't have a big ego, as you probably know. He's a very humble man. He's always led by example and empowered others in their call and in their leadership to help IVC to grow to what it is today. And it truly is a remarkable achievement. It really is. I mean, if you think about it, none of us here today wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Jim and his vision, his spirituality, and his deep commitment to serve others. He truly has touched all of our lives, and many others who are not here today, all across the country, hundreds and hundreds of people. And he's brought us all closer to God. So Jim, for that, I think I can speak for everyone here when I say thank you for all you've done. Thank you. I'd also like to announce today that we're putting together a special gift in Jim's honor that will be used to sustain the spiritual component of IVC, something that's meant a lot to Jim through all these years. And thanks to a very generous former board member, that gift will have a match of $26,200, which you see the marathoner right there, with 26.2 miles for a marathon. In memory of all those marathons Jim ran to help raise money for IVC. So Jim, again, from all of us, thank you. And congratulations on this day.
So I just asked Jim Swope, did I really knock you down? He said, yeah, right here. You look marvelous. IVC at 25, and here are some of the earliest companions in the IVC Corps, and my admiration, my affection for your great dedication and loving service over so many years. We were there when it was really, really small, and really, we were not certain where it was going to go. IVC is a very simple idea. It begins with the basic commandment, listen. Listen. It's the first commandment. It's what God, listen. And when we listened, we heard people articulate a deep desire to have a deeper relationship with God, a deep love with God, a knowledge and an understanding of God in Jesus. And with that holy desire and an understanding of who Jesus is, one who expresses love more perfectly in deeds than in words, the ability to serve as Jesus did, to go out and care for the marginalized, the poor, the widow, the orphan, the broken, the ones without hope. That became the foundation of the Ignatian Volunteer Corps. And when I heard that being articulated by men and women who were mothers and fathers of novices that I had in the novitiate when I was in the Maryland province, I knew what my next job was. But it took me 5 years to get to it. Charlie had a similar experience in his work in secondary education. So the idea was clear from the beginning: listen and serve. We knew that was the key part of IVC. But to test it, because we're Jesuits, we went back and we studied. Charlie and I studied the documents of the Second Vatican Council, which under Pope Francis are breathing a new life, a new energy into this church. And we are going to see the fruit of that. We are seeing the fruit of it now. But not only the documents of the Second Vatican Council, the documents of the Society of Jesus, which really guided the apostolic spirituality and choices for Jesuits into the future. And very clearly, from both of those documents, the whole sense, the whole movement of the spirits is that the church is universal and that leadership in the church comes through baptism. And that the Spirit is moving to lift up among us the resource that has been left untapped, the leadership and the faith and the experience and the skills of the laymen and women of this community that we call church. We had an opportunity. The third generation, just think about it. People my age, 2 generations ago, really did not have a whole lot of life in front of them. But we have that now. When God gives a gift of a third generation, when people have a sufficiency of income, when they have time and opportunity, and they have holy desires, it is set up. This thing is an organization that is waiting to be birthed. And we had a little bit of luck, and we were able to get enough good people around us early to make this thing work. So, I want to tell you a little bit about Charlie Costello, whose 15th anniversary of his death is the 29th of October. It's Tuesday. Charlie was a spiritual director and a dear friend of a number of the Jesuits who are in this room. Charlie was so damn Irish. I mean, how else to say it? When we designed the organization, he insisted that the stationery we used would be buff and green. And then he would wax on about the many incredible shades of green in Ireland. My eyes still roll as I think about that experience. But together, we were able to share an idea and a vision and persuade a provincial who was not noted for originality and openness to new ideas that this might happen. So the whole sense of God's grace operating with a good idea, with the opportunity, and persuading the provincial to let this thing happen. It began in a little room. We would meet in a room that was big enough for a card table and 2 folding chairs to sit together and study the documents every day, pray every day, and then plot about how it is we start an organization. And if you remember, we had these little conversation groups. We had it in Baltimore, in Washington, and Philadelphia. Here's an idea. What do you think? And there were enough good people who said, that's a good idea, and I would like to be a part of it. Well, IVC has grown well, and it's grown well beyond my capability. And one of the best things I did early on was recognize that the Ignatian Lay Volunteer Corps should be run by lay men and women. And that the Jesuit part of that was to support it and to encourage it, but not lead it. And so very quickly, the wonderful Suzanne Gainey was able to take over as the director of the Ignatian Volunteer Corps. I think it was in Suzanne's time we changed the name. And then the marvelous Mary McGinnity, who possessed possesses amazing skills and holy desires and an energy and a compassion and a vision that is so remarkable, has taken over and led us to places. And as Mary recognized earlier, one of the privileges that I've had over these 25 years is to continue to serve on the board of directors. I think I'm the oldest emeritus continuing serving board member in the history of the United States. But I must say, as we said today, over and over again, with this board, there's a tremendous affection and admiration for one another, but for the mission, for the volunteers, and the energy, the awareness, the concern, the desire to make this organization work, because the volunteers care for and love the people of God. And most especially, the volunteers. I have met the most incredible men and women over these 25 years with a capacity to take a risk and go beyond their comfort zone, to leave the comfort of their suburban life, to abandon the notion of the golden years and put down the golf clubs at least a couple of days a week and work among the poorest of the poor and the most needy. And the amazing thing is, as they give their attention and their compassion, their skills and their love to those people, the volunteers have this mantra: I am the one who have received. I am the one who has been gifted. It is that precious exchange that Jesus explains to us. When we love, we experience the love of God coming back at us. When we do what we ought to be doing for the love of God, we have the privilege of being the face, the eyes, the hands, the feet, the heart, the compassion of our loving God. What more could a person of faith ask for? So I shall end this talk and thank you so much for the celebration, for all those who have planned. It's remarkable. And I really look forward to the 50th. And I plan to be there. But the venue's going to be Nat Stadium. I know it's being used tonight, and we hope for a little bit better outcome the last two nights. But I want you to be there, so pencil it in. And lastly, the church is changing. Leadership is utterly and completely necessary, and it lies in communities like this. Laymen and women of great faith and great skill and great dedication. The community is in our hands collectively. I thank you, I admire you, God bless you, and thank you for the celebration. You are marvelous. Thank you.
Father Jim Conroy, in the name of the Maryland province, I want to say congratulations on this honor you are receiving on the 25th anniversary of the Ignatian Volunteer Corps that you helped found. We celebrate with you seeing the wonderful fruits of this creative venture you started. Thanks.
Thank you, Jim, for those beautiful and inspiring words, and I think I speak for all of us that we want to be there for the 50th. I'm Mary Podesta, and this is my husband, John. I am a member of the IVC board and on the advancement committee. As you've heard tonight and could certainly see, IVC has a very powerful mission. It exists to help men and women 50 and over who want to leverage their life experiences and skills to help the poor and marginalized in their own communities while deepening their own faith in the Ignatian tradition. And as we've also heard, it's poised to grow and to add more regions and add more service corps members. John and I have chosen to join that mission. For us, the way to answer the call to serve others and deepen our faith is to be benefactors of IVC and to ask others to make IVC part of their philanthropy. For as IVC grows, it's going to, the philanthropy is going to have to grow also to support and sustain it. And that's the point of the Ignite campaign that you've been hearing about. I'm very happy to announce that as we move into the public phase of the Ignite campaign, we are more than halfway there. And that's thanks to many of you who are in this room. I hope you know how grateful we are.
Just to add one word to what Mary said, I think that we're all asked to do a lot, and we're always asked to give. But I think for the two of us, the IVC, there's no organization that we give to that has a multiplier effect like IVC because of what Mark said at the beginning, the ability, the privilege of the volunteers to serve is just really outstanding. So I have an easy job. It's to tell you if you're not headed to the ballpark or if you're not going home to prepare for a World Series party, please hang around. I think there's still more food on the table. There's going to be dessert. And so just celebrate this evening, the friendship, the community, the joy, I think that has been present here tonight. Please stay for a little while, have another drink, have something more to eat, and get to know people that you maybe have not met before, and live in that spirit of love that Jim talked about. My final announcement, I have two final announcements. Jim's pledged to do an ultra marathon in honor of the 50th anniversary. And I'll try to do it with him. So we'll go together. And finally, we're going to close out with Dan Schutte of the St. Louis Jesuits, who's going to lead us in closing prayer.
Good evening to you all. I'm Dan Schutte. Along with many others, I'm so grateful for the work of IVC and the tremendous impact you've had on so many lives. None of us can build the kingdom of God alone, but together we make a big difference. Together we create a powerful community that leads the church forward and reflects the face of Christ to our world. There are so many to thank. Certainly the men and women of the Service Corps, the spiritual reflectors who support them. Then there's the IVC staff and directors, council and board members. And of course, none of the work could be done without the financial help of so many generous supporters. Congratulations, Jim Conroy. You and Charlie Costello had the prophetic vision to create this amazing companionship of service. And so, as a way of closing this celebration, I've prepared a song to honor the work of IVC. It's a prayer of gratitude for the past 25 years, but more importantly, a prayer to lead us forth into the future. There's still so much work that needs to be done before the kingdom of God is complete. So, let us pray. On my own Dei Gloria, God of all things, in great and small things, so we labor to set all hearts on fire for your greater glory, O God. Be the passion in our soul as we fight for justice and long for the reign of peace. On my own wisdom and walk in the way of truth. Ad maiorem Dei gloriam, God of all things, in great and small things, so we labor to set all hearts on fire for your greater glory, O God.
Thank you, everybody, and God bless.